Right, so we're live here in Kuta Beach, Mandalika, Lombok. Just to recap on the events of Mandalika MotoGP, yesterday was mostly quiet in terms of the events, aside from some safety inspections and also track familiarization for the racers. So yesterday the racers didn't actually put their wheels on the track just yet. They're just there to walk through the circuit and acquaint themselves with the track. As for today, however, Mandalika MotoGP will finally officially start. The bikes will be rolled onto the tracks, and the first two free practices will be held. Now, despite the name free practice, it does actually have a real impact on the main event races. As the 10 best racers, during the free practice, with the quickest times will be put directly to the second qualifiers and be placed within the first 4 grids in the race. So for Moto3, Moto2, and the Idemitsu Asia Talent Cup, they will have only 3 free practice rounds, whereas the MotoGP will have 4. As for the situation in Mandalika, well, we've had some heavy rain this morning. It's quite sunny out right now, but there was rain, quite heavy actually. Obviously, this is something that the organizers were very worried about and very concerned about. And it was something that the BMKG, the Indonesian Agency for Meteorology, Climatology, and Geophysics, predicted would happen during the events. However, some measures were taken to prevent this, such as the Air Force have conducted their weather manipulation efforts, as well as all that sorts to be able to prevent rain from happening. However, as of earlier at least, Mother Nature still had her way, but hopefully during the rest of the events, it'll be sunshiny and the races will conduct as properly. Now, the reason why we're here today is actually because for the MotoGP fans, the ones who are watching, weather is the least of their worries, as finding a place to stay becomes harder and harder. But thankfully, the Creative Economy Ministry has set up these camping grounds behind me, and also the one across the street from me. So these camping grounds are available for the fans who want to camp out to see their favorite racers. So we spoke to some of the fans that are camping in these camping grounds earlier, and they said that they chose to camp out because obviously all of the hotels and villas and all the other accommodations that are available around the circuit are currently fully booked. So their other options are only to stay in like the hotels and accommodations outside of the Mandalika area, such as, for example, in the city of Mataram, which is inconvenient because the city is like an hour and a half away from the circuit, so it'll be very hard in terms of transportation for those fans who are staying in that city. So obviously being able to camp here is much more ideal. It's much closer to the circuit, probably around only like 10 or 15 minutes to drive. And aside from that, I think this is a very ideal place to not only watch the races, but also to enjoy your time in Lombok, check out the scenery and the beautiful sights and the beaches. So really, you can't really complain if you're camping here. Back to the studio.
Arya, thank you so much for the latest updates.